Okay, so this morning, the text that we sat with together yet apart as we looked at our app, the Pray As You Go app, it was the passages from Luke. This is Luke chapter 9, starting with verse 46. And an argument arose among them, Jesus' disciples, as to which one of them was the greatest. But Jesus, aware of their inner thoughts, took a little child and put it by his side and said to them, "Whoever welcomes this child in my name welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. For the least among all of you is the greatest." And for me, it was an interesting reminder where you have this kind of comparing and contrasting of the disciples who are the ones that in theory should have it figured out, and then because they're the ones that walk closest with Jesus, they're the ones learning from him day in and day out. And then you have a character who isn't necessarily someone who you would think is the sort of like hero of the story, right? Children in this day and age, we're not necessarily always welcomed into the inner circles of conversations concerning who's the greatest in God's kingdom, kind of a thing, right? It's just sort of, and let's be honest, like we see that in churches today sometimes is the kids are there for a bit, and then it's like, all right, walk away as the adults talk, and I think there's a place for that, of course, of respecting boundaries of the kids, of adults as well, and but it's also just it's a good reminder to me where there's this back and forth, who's greatest, and then Jesus is aware of their inner thoughts, and he took a little child and he put it by his side. And for me, it was it's good to just kind of it was helpful for me to sit with that imagery this morning, to see what it might have looked like to have Jesus, God with us, Emmanuel, the creator of heavens and earth, assuming a form, a human form, coming and standing next to a little child, and then teaching them, whoever welcomes a little child in their presence is greatest. And so what we have is there's a surprising character to teach the disciples, um, who should know better, right? And what Jesus does is he stands beside this child in solidarity, and it's this symbol, it's this powerful image of togetherness, that Gregory Boyle talks about how Jesus didn't just like stand with people, he stood like beside people, he stood with them in this sort of act of kinship, the people on the margins. And not only does Jesus demonstrate this, but he encourages this kind of greatness in his kingdom by way of radical hospitality. He takes someone that wasn't necessarily always welcomed into these circles, and says, no, you need to demonstrate radical hospitality to the outsider, and then he stands beside that outsider in a way that demonstrates what true greatness looks like in his kingdom. So, for me, the question that I want to sit with today, and I invite you guys to sit with it as well, is this question: what surprising characters is Jesus placing by his side, challenging us toward radical hospitality? Who are the people that you can think of right now who Jesus might take and put by his side and stand next to and say, the way that you're willing to welcome this person is the way that you can demonstrate greatness in my kingdom? And then if we want to sit with that and consider who that person is that might challenge our notion of greatness, I think we can ask the next question, which is, how can we follow Jesus and stand beside others, the sort of surprising characters in our world, in a way that demonstrates a kingdom of God-like solidarity? Um, so asking the question, who might Jesus stand beside in a way that challenges our notion of greatness, that sort of expands our notion of radical hospitality. And as we seek to practice that ourselves as followers of Jesus, who are the people that we can stand next to in solidarity that demonstrates a broader greatness of God's kingdom that says, you who are vying to be great and lofty, the way that that is really done is by willing to enter into a posture of radical hospitality, to stand in solidarity with the people who are surprisingly welcome. So that's what I want to sit with this morning, and I encourage you guys to do the same.